Warning, this is a white woman's opinion on racism. Therefore, I implore you to take it with a bag of salt. I'm going to try my best to discuss this from a place of objective and logical decorum. However, I acknowledge that as a person coming from a place of privilege, I will never fully be able to understand the harmful effects and nuances that racism has on marginalized individuals. And I am a flawed and biased human being. Feel free to call me out if and when I make a mistake. Also, this isn't a cancel video or an expose. I love Tally Hall, I just also love having candid conversations about art and the intention behind it. Anyway, let's talk Holly. Sir? A third Holly document has just hit the tower. Dear God. Is it August already? Hey y'all, this video isn't about the document. There are already videos about that, and I made enough of them in the last one. No, this is a video about a song. Yes, I'm going back to my roots and talking about Tally Hall. With it being 1 year since my last Joe Song video and 4 days until me and my sibling will attend our first Sonic lunch to support the amazing and talented Andrew Horowitz, I felt there's no time like the present to tackle this infamous fruit-flavored tune. Plus, at least one of you wanted to see it. Content warning for discussions of racism. Now, let's start a conversation. I'll be honest with y'all, researching this video was a headache. But I started at the very beginning and decided to watch the original video. Already having been desensitized to, well, all of this, I came to 2 conclusions. 1, I believe the other ties represent parrots and their makeup mostly reflects such. What with the Zimbabwe songbirds allegedly being a real attraction at Marvin's, though I've not personally been able to find any proof of that, but Tally Ball said it and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And 2, come on, man. One thing I will say before I get into my opinion is, racist or not, there was zero care taken to make this look like anything else. Like, look! Just look! And the Jamaican accent? Wait, hold on, Jamaican? I thought the songbirds were from Zimbabwe. That brings me into my first point of research. Most people, Chani Jash included, agreed that the accent Joe speaks in this song is that of Jamaica. But as you can see here, Jamaica and Zimbabwe are pretty far away from each other. I mean, they're in 2 different continents. And before you say, but blanket, maybe Bungville Chungo is Jamaican. I'm gonna squash that one out right now. The birds are singing a song, the birds are from Zimbabwe, the birds are still singing in a Jamaican accent according to both fans and detractors of the song, and Zimbabwe is the only place, besides of course the continent it belongs to, which is Africa, that is mentioned in the whole song, that is actually a real place on planet Earth and not like Busy Town. Saying there are 2 different cultural representations in this song is simply giving this guy way too much credit. He was born and raised in Michigan, and it's more likely that he just didn't know or care about these different cultures and dialects. But hey, let's step back for a minute and operate under the assumption that all of us are wrong. Maybe the accent isn't Jamaican. Hell, have any of you even heard a Zimbabwean accent before? Well, you're in luck. I've prepared some little comparisons for the class.
Hello. For those of you who might be wondering how an English-speaking Zimbabwean sounds, well, that's Victoria Falls. Well, this is how I sound, and I'm an English-speaking Zimbabwean.
What's up, guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, my name is Ephraim, and this is my friend Victor, and I'm from Zimbabwe.
Rasta live, you know, see, Rasta me say, last year, you know, see, if you know Rasta. And you can't keep the concept. Stay away from it.
Is your name? What your name? My name is. My name. Is your name? Are you name?
You see banana man hopping over on the white hot sand. Here he come with some for me. Freshly taken from banana tree. Banana man me want a done. Give.
As you can see, the way Joe and the gang inflect and melt words is most representative of patois and the Jamaican dialect. Due to a history of colonization, Zimbabwean accents, regardless of dialect, tend to lean more towards a European lilt. This is completely different from that of the Jamaican patois. But blanket, this was 2010. While the internet existed, maybe it was less accessible than it is today. Okay, 1, yes, but actually no. Joe could have still easily researched this stuff, This was only 14 years ago, and I was literally there. By 2010, computers were pretty commonplace in households, and especially at institutions that he was at, like U of M. Plus, why did he even need to set this song in Africa anyway? And why did he use that style of makeup? In order to dissect this, we must first know what the song is about in the first place. In order to do this, I'm gonna mostly be referring to the Tali Ball video about Banana Man. It's actually amazing, and the link to the video is in the description. But what Tali essentially says is that Banana Man is about drugs and religion. The bananas are drugs. Bung Volchungo is a drug dealer, the people in the song become addicted to drugs, and there's also religious imagery sprinkled in via the flame dance bit. Now, if you know anything about Mr. Nutmeg Holly, you'd probably gather that this kind of commentary is par for the course for him. I also do want to point out that it's implied that the people becoming addicted to the drugs are tourists to Africa, because the song has lyrics mentioning the return to Busy Town on a plane and withdrawing from the lack of bananas on the way home. And the whole Africant line implies that they are in Africa. Or at least that is where Bung Volchungo is based. I can't believe I have to say that name. That is such a stupid... So what I've gathered so far is that this song is about people vacationing to Africa and getting addicted to drugs while they're there. Also, Jamaica isn't even in Africa, but we've already established that he's just simply and ignorantly using the wrong accent, so whatever. My question is, what does this imply? If he's simply speaking about drug addiction, why did he need to place the song in Africa? Why did he need to use all of the stereotypes? If you're just gonna say this is an example of dark humor, then I'd tell you that humor is supposed to be funny. His humor isn't even well researched. What is the punchline, guys? Local Michigan white guy doesn't know anything about other cultures? Because that's what I'm getting. I understand that some people are like, well, he just wanted a certain style and sound, and that's just how the cards fell. But like, is it really worth it? My question is, if your song has a big chance of being seen as racist because multiple missteps that you have taken because you refuse to research anything, is it really worth it for stylistic purposes? Like, is it really worth it for that reggae, for that calypso, for that is it really worth it? Don't get me wrong, you can write a more tropical beat without infusing racism into it. You can sing about drugs without infusing racism into it. Hell, you can sing about bananas as a metaphor for drugs without infusing racism into it. Plus, according to the Tally Hall subreddit, Joe was inspired to write this song after he woke up at midnight and heard a tribal chant on the TV. Like, I'm assuming that was the extent of the research. There are just too many grave missteps here for me to parse whoopsie-daisy. Song had no reason to be set in Africa, and then sang in a Jamaican accent. That's just how I see it. That's my opinion. But it gets deeper. What's with the makeup anyway? See, a lot of people think that this song is only racist due to the makeup that they decide to use in the music video. But I've kind of already feel like I've proven a point that this song doesn't need the makeup in order to already be racist. But let's talk makeup, because that's the most important thing that people like to focus on. As I said in the beginning, I'm gonna be focusing mostly on Bung Volchungo. I believe that the other dudes are supposed to represent birds, though the things I say about Volchungo that apply to the mouth can also be applied to them. There's a couple ways this can go. One thing I've seen a lot is that the makeup is supposed to mimic the shape of a banana, and that it's just black and white makeup around the mouth, yada yada. But like, let me show you a quick side-by-side. Again, if you don't want to be accused of blackface, don't make your makeup look like blackface. It's really not that hard. He could have just as easily made himself look like some kind of sleazy salesman or carnival barker and gotten across the same message in a less racist way. But no, guys, this isn't a child. This is a grown man with a college education at one of the best universities in the country, and he chose to do this. Like, think about it this way. For me, it's just too much of a coincidence. The setting in Africa, the Jamaican accent despite Jamaica not even being in Africa, and then the makeup. Like, come on, guys. Like, I don't know. For me, it's just way too many. It's like 3 strikes and you're out, you know what I mean? Now, the second way this can go is somehow worse. I saw this curious Reddit comment saying that the makeup was actually inspired by Sinakwa, a mask created by artist and native Chief Willie Seaweed and displayed in the Detroit Institute of the Arts. Now, and I'm gonna get into this later, no member of Tally Hall has ever talked about this song, so I seriously don't know where people are getting this information. But if you guys can find anywhere where anyone of any kind of, like, influence actually says this, like, I would love to see it. But anyway, the two things that I've seen most people talk about is either he wrote it after hearing a tribal chant at midnight, or he wrote it after seeing this mask. So we'll operate under this assumption for a little bit. As you can see, the resemblance to the mask is there, but what exactly is the cultural significance of this mask? According to this tribe's history, this mask depicts the Sonoqua. The Sonoqua is a sort of urban legend, also called the Wild Woman of the Woods. She is part of a large family of giants. She is known to roam the forests in search of children who have disobediently wandered too far from the village and into the woods. It is told that she steals the children, covers their eyes with pitch, puts them inside a basket that she carries on her back, and takes them back to her home where she eats them. However, she is considered very clumsy and dim-witted, so the children are usually able to outsmart her. This terrifying figure is seen as a deterrent for anyone wandering too far away from their village. However, in addition to being a dark and threatening figure to children, the Wild Woman also has great powers and is considered a bringer of good fortune. If you manage to trick her, she will bring you great wealth. For some, she is in possession of great knowledge, with powerful abilities to change her shape and size, carry a basin of water that could turn the ugly beautiful, and revive the dead. The Wild Woman is seen in some ceremonial dances wearing a traditional mask. She is often portrayed as a narcoleptic creature stumbling around the fire in the wrong direction only to fall into a heap asleep on the ground. Others help her to seat only for her to fall asleep again. So with this theory here, I can also kind of see some of the similarities to the song. Like, hey, what if this song isn't racist at all? What if Volchungo is just a Sonoqua and the individuals in the Banana Man song are tribe members partaking in a ceremonial dance, as exemplified by part of the song about the spirit game? They do mention dancing around a fire, which kind of adds up with the urban legend. What if the bananas are an example of the good fortune of some and demise of others, namely misbehaving children? What if Volchungo is a legend all the same, and the song is just commentary on an ancient native culture which was inspired by a trip to the Detroit Art Institute? That is to say, what if this song is just a legend put into modern times? Oh wait, the song is still set in Africa, and the tribe responsible for the Sonoqua legend are native to the Pacific Northwest and parts of Canada. And, the Jamaican accent. So I guess they're actually appropriating 3 cultures in one song. Not an easy feat if you ask me. I feel like this video has just become an amalgamation of like, I can't keep defending you, Joe. I was done defending you last year, and I'm even more done defending you this year. You got some shit to answer for. Again, I guess I would kind of understand if they're trying to put this urban legend in modern times, but like, why set it in Africa? Why are you setting it in Africa? You could have just have easily set it in somewhere like, I don't know, Washington State, Alaska, Oregon, Northern California, or Canada, where members of the tribe still live. But it's because, guys, it's not an educational video. It's not commentary on a tribe urban legend. Like, it's just a racist music video. So yeah, in my opinion, this song is undeniably racist. Do I think Joe or the rest of the band intended that? Probably not. I think he's just a careless, geographically challenged white guy. But intentions aside, there were also so many ways he could have avoided this, and he just didn't. So, the song is racist. Now, don't think I'm not holding the other tallies responsible for involving themselves in the video as well. They are, but it was Joe's vision and carelessness that built the song and video from the ground up. He was the director. He made the artistic decisions, and he wrote the song. And I can't stress this enough. He could have made so many different decisions and produced a similar song with different results. Look, y'all know I'm a Tally Hall fan, but I dislike the echo chamber that the fanbase has become. I have to agree with Chani Jash in his rendition of Banana Man when he says that you can be a fan of something and understand that it's not perfect whatsoever. But whenever somebody tries to talk about specifically Joe and the shortcoming he and his music has had, they just get dogpiled by people defending this 40-something-year-old like he's a defenseless child who doesn't know no better. Nah, he made a racist song, dude. Whether intentionally or not, He didn't educate himself on things he was singing about before he sang about them.
I also know that now there's a possibility that he is mentally ill, but I am holding to the belief that he created this song when he was still sound of mind, as has been said by the other Tally Hall members. He has also never directly said that he is unwell or unsound of mind, and nobody has really ever confirmed that, especially not him himself, so I'm still operating under the assumption that he is able to make his own decisions, because I'm not going to assume anybody else's mental state.
This is a dude with a whole bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan, and I do not feel bad about criticizing him or his work. But Blanket, it was so long ago! People change! You're absolutely right. People do change. I don't personally think anyone in Tally Hall, Joe included, believes any of the same sentiments that were put into the song so long ago. I mean, it's been 14 years for crying out loud. I think at the end of the day, the song was intended to be a joke, but the joke was extremely poor and in bad taste and really poorly researched. And I shouldn't even be using that word because it just wasn't researched. But I also think that this all needs to be said, and no one is saying it. We can't just ignore Banana Man. No one, Joe included, has come out and said, "Hey guys, Banana Man no longer reflects my views or idea of humor." And I don't think anyone ever will. Which kinda sucks. Though I do think that if anybody would have to come forward about this, it would have to be Joe. I mean, he was the entire artistic director and force behind this song. But again, he's just not going to. I feel that someone with a sizable following anywhere must make it clear when their opinions have changed on content they made in the past. And I feel like people need to do a better job of openly taking accountability. It shows growth. I also believe that when people do take accountability for their actions, it shouldn't be immediately met with like death threats and doxing. Like, it takes a lot of balls to take accountability and own your shit. And, you know, I think that that's something that people need to do a lot more often, but it also needs to be something that is more normalized. Again, this isn't meant to be any kind of cancel culture video. Like I said, I still love Tally Hall. This is just meant to be an open, unabridged, unsugar-coated acknowledgement of an elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Banana Man is a racist song with a racist music video, so let's talk about it. Thanks for watching.